Every year, thousands of children are being bitten in this country. Every 40 seconds, there's a child being bitten. And about 800,000 children will go to the hospital alone this year because of dog bites. I'm not trying to scare you, but what I am trying to do is make you aware of the potential dangers that happen with dogs and children. So if we can educate our children to the possible dangers, we can eliminate these unnecessary injuries. So the first thing is, when the dog is eating, leave him alone. I would find a place where the dog can eat in privacy, or have you around and supervise when the dog is eating. Leave the dog alone when he's eating. If he has a bone or a toy, teach your children to leave the dog alone and let him have the toy. And if they need to get the toy back, to go get mommy or daddy and have the adults take the toy from the dog. If the dog is lying on an elevated area, teach the children not to go up to that dog, because putting a child that puts his face into another dog's face is actually seen as a threat to that dog. So putting a child's face into the dog's face is potentially very dangerous, and many times ends up in a dog bite. The other thing is, dogs don't like to be hugged, and so many children want to hug their dog like it's a doll. Dogs aren't dolls. They're actually canines, and they don't like being hugged. And when a child hugs a dog, they actually can see it as a threat, and it can potentially be dangerous. Keep teaching your dog to stay off of elevated areas is a very smart thing to do. Most of the dog bites that we see in this country are a result of the dog being on a couch or a chair. And the child goes up, he puts his face into the dog's face, and of course, that's where we get the dog bite. Teaching the child how to pet the dog, how to approach the dog is very, very important. Children sometimes will pinch and pull the tail. This is a very dangerous thing. So poking their eyes, how to interact with the dog is very important. Avoid teaching the children from climbing on top of the dog. I can't tell you how many times I see clients that have their dogs, the children see the dogs as horses, and they want to climb on their backs. This can actually injure the dog and is actually potentially dangerous. So we don't want the children to actually climb on top or go into their dog crates is another one that I see. This is very dangerous. Many dogs find their dog crates and become protective of them, so children playing in around dog crates is not a good idea. Yelling and screaming in the dog's face is very annoying. You wouldn't do that to a friend, and you certainly shouldn't do that to your dogs. Many people say, well, how should a child approach a dog? Well, one of the best things is I teach children to actually act like trees, and to put their heads down when a dog comes up to you. Put your arms down. So basically, your feet, your arms are the branches, and your feet are the roots. And the child brings their branches together and looks at their roots, and just like this. And there will be no movement or eye contact with the dog as the dog is approaching them and sniffing them. Not putting my hand on top of the dog's head, but keeping my hands down like this so the dog can come up and sniff. And once the dog gets a sniff, you can actually ask the owner, and you should do this actually before the dog approaches, is this dog safe with children? And if the owner says it's okay, then you can do the approach of the tree, of the child being the tree. And this works incredibly well. That's it for today. Talk to you soon.